In today's episode of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, I sit down with Trenton to find out all about how H.P. Lovecraft and cats, of all creatures, go together. Plus, we'll see what he's got on Kickstarter currently, and then we'll jump into Kickstarter Corner. But first, a message about our sponsor. Today's episode is also powered by one of our proud Kickstarter Season 3 backers and their game Nouvelle France, which just launched to Kickstarter. Nouvelle France is an abstract strategy game where you need to skillfully place construction blocks to build 3 historic sites from the Nouvelle France era. Outwit your opponents and thereby gain points. Add to that 3 further ways to either bettering your score or hindering your opponents. Take that game like the Leafs like. Be on the lookout or come back and listen to our interview with the publisher on Saturday the 14th of September and back Nouvelle France before 10 October.
Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Welcome to Getting Geeky with Game Relief. Today we've got a special treat for you. You've probably seen a bunch of cats there on the interwebs, as well as you've probably heard the story of Cthulhu. But what if I told you could play both of them combined in one game? Well, today we're interviewing the creator mastermind behind H.P. Lovecraft's The Cats of Ulthar card game. Is that right, Trent? Are you the mastermind behind this game?
Yes, it's me. It was my idea. I was sitting down at breakfast with my 13-year-old, and he was telling me about reading some of the stories in a Cthulhu anthology. And I was like, "You're reading Cthulhu? All right, why didn't I know about that?" And he was like, "Oh, there's this one about cats." And we just got a cat, Bruce, from a shelter, adopted him. And I read the story, and I was like, "God, this is such a short story by Lovecraft. I wonder if when anyone's ever done a card game, wouldn't it be fun, a challenge to create a fun card game based around a story that's probably no longer than 2 pages. It's probably in an anthology sitting on most people's shelves right now. And you may or may not have heard of the story because it's so obscure, but I like the challenge. And so I think we've done a pretty good job.
Well, there you go. Yeah, no, I never heard of that. I know I've heard of like just the main Cthulhu book or whatnot, but other than that, I hadn't heard of that. Now, before we jump into your game, let's rewind a little bit if we could. How did you get into playing tabletop board games, Trenton?
Well, like I said, when you have a family, you want to try and create kind of an analog experience for them, as well as we're living in such a technological age where, people can zone out and lose their ability to have social interactions. And I had been a graphic designer and art director on a couple of other titles as kind of a freelance way. And that's what really kind of sucked me into this world of, people who were kind of, eager to get back to, I think, sitting around the campfire, having a discussion and really being in person with one another, as opposed to just doing everything online. And, that's when we started to get sucked into playing games in general. And, at that point I was like, you know what, I've been working on games for other people. I got some great contacts. I know some great illustrators. Let's do it ourselves.
Awesome. Which games did you start off with? What that you helped with?
Let's see. I worked on one for, it was a Kickstarter for Total Recall based on the old movie, not the short story. And I also did one for Ninjak versus the like Valiant Comics, basically. It's called Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe, and that was done by Overworld Games. And you basically have Marvel and you have DC, and then farther on down, the next, like the third most selling comic books are Valiant. And that was awesome because I got to really dig into their cache, their library of titles, imagery wise, to make the cards. And so that was a whole lot of fun. and then I worked on a Terminator project as well.
Awesome. And then decided to do your own. So word on the street is you have a game on Kickstarter. Besides kind of how it came into fruition, what can you tell us about H.P. Lovecraft's The Cats of Ulthar card game?
Well, it's one of those games that I respect, and I'm amazed at the table killing games. The ones that cost like $170, take up the whole table, and take 5 hours to play. Those are so awesome, and this is such a strange, wonderful time to be doing that kind of stuff. But for me, especially starting off, since we're such a small company, I thought, you know what, let's do something short. So let's do something that's like, you can kind of bum rush really fast the game if you want to. You can play as fast or as slow as you want. But I wanted to come up with a 15-20 minute game for two people. Didn't take up a lot of space. And like I said, you could do everything with just cards. And so that's what this game is. If you look at a Venn diagram, it's usually has Venn diagrams are like usually 2 or 3 circles, and they all kind of converge on each other. And the sections that are connecting the circles are the sections that they all have something in common. And it's funny because I have this Venn diagram of basically people who love cats, people who love horror, and people who love Cthulhu and Lovecraft. And if you combine all of those, we're kind of in the center, with the Cats of Ulthar game, because I think it covers all those preferences.
Well, there you go. Awesome. Now, per se, man, you sat down to play the Cats of Ulthar. What's my turn going to look like, or what's the turn consist of?
Yeah. So basically, the whole point of this, so the story in a nutshell, and as I've tested this game for a year and a half at least, testing it around testing events, I always give people a quick background on the story. And the whole story is set in this fantasy realm, in this mystical city of Ulthar, and it actually comes up in other Lovecraft stories, which fans have let me know. I've learned so much from fans. But in the story, this cotter and wife, he's a farmer. They're evil. They kill cats in their spare time. Nobody in town likes them. Well, the cats, one day, this strange nomadic group of people come through town, and they have this small orphan who also has a cat. Well, the cat goes missing, and everybody in the town says, "I'm sorry, but the cotter and wife have probably killed your cat." So the orphan boy who comes from, they worship strange Egyptian gods. He creates these incantations in the sky, the sorcery, and the locals can see these strange animal-like gods coming out of the skies and then disappearing. Well, then the nomads leave town never to be heard again. All the cats in town go missing. And then a couple of days later, someone goes out to check on the cotter and wife, and they find that they're nothing but bones. And then a couple of days later, the cats come back, and none of them are hungry. That's the story. That's it. So basically on your turn, to answer your question, a turn is, what you want to try and do is you want to kill the cotter and wife before I do. And to do that, you have a spellcaster card. And you both have, basically on either side of the cotter and wife, it's kind of a symmetrical setup. So the cotter and wife card's in the middle. You're on a side, I'm on a side. And so what you want to try and do is lay that kill card down on the cotter and wife. Well, to do that, you have to get your minions together. And of course, your minions are felines. And so there's all kinds of different kind of cats, and you have to line them up in a certain kind of way around your spellcaster, and then lay down the kill card. And of course, there are mystic cats that could go anywhere. Some of them have special properties. So let's say on your turn, you lay down a cat on your card, around your spellcaster. Well, you woke up the cotter and wife. So there's a really basic AI in the game where the cotter and wife have their own deck. And then you'll flip over one of their cards and it says, cat in slot B is fed to the pigs. And you may or may not have a protective spell against it, which you can use immediately. Or you might lose your cat. Now, on my turn, I might see that you're getting a bunch of cats together surrounding your spellcaster, and I'm thinking, oh, God, he's going to win before me. So I can lay down a zany death spell, which is anywhere from levitate your cat into a tree, to turning it into a pumpkin, to sending it into the dark abyss. And if you don't have any protection spells, then I kill your cat. Well, that's good and well, but there's another AI in the system, which is the ancient elder gods. And if I or you kill one of our cats, kill anyone's cats, then you got to turn over one of their cards. And 99% of the time, it's not good for the cat killer.
Oh boy, so you watch it, try to kill the Cotter and wife, and then watch out for killing the other people's cats as well. How do you determine who wins? Is it whoever gets rid of the Cotter and wife first?
Exactly. There's only a handful of kill cards in the set, and so you can only have one in your hand at any given time. So if you have to lay down that kill card before your opponent does.
Okay, and and then the game that triggers the end, or that's the end period.
That triggers the end. It's a game that can theoretically take up to 20 minutes sometimes, especially if you don't mind, killing each other's cats and laying down spells. But you can play the game as fast as you want, and once you learn how to play it, I mean, you can speed rush through it as fast as you want, and it can go as I've had games go as short as like 12 to 15 minutes.
Awesome. Now, but during play testing, was there ever anything you had to scratch because it just wouldn't work for the game?
Oh yeah, basically. So we got a lot of play testing through events put on by Playtest Northwest. We're up in Seattle, Washington, and it's such a big game community that there's this nonprofit Playtest Northwest, and they set up events at game stores, and they basically announce it and like, hey, come test these games. And so I was there one time, and one of the old mechanics was every time everyone else gets a turn, the Cotter and wife, the bad guys, get a turn, and that was just the way it was. Well, we got into a weird loop one day where basically the game was going on for like 50 minutes because it was in some strange loop where things were happening in a certain way, and I'm just like, oh my god, I thought my game was fine. I tested it hours and hours, but then I found this weird little broken mechanic, and somebody that worked there is like, well, just have it do this instead of that. And yeah, it basically opened up the floodgates and made gameplay so much more flowable and so much easy. And now it's consistent. And after testing it for like a year after that, it's been great. So I can't stress enough to people who are designing their own games to test them and test them and test them. But I also appreciate the people that take up their free time on a weekend to just show up to these events and are willing to sit down. They don't walk away with anything. They're not there to shop. They're there to just help out with testing. And so I applaud all our players out there that are just into it and willing to help us make a better product.
Awesome. And now, is it hard to take their advice? Like, because this is your baby, isn't it?
Oh, it's really tough. It was tough for me to change that mechanic specifically because I'd had it perfectly that way. And I'm like, well, I have to go back and change the rule book and yada, yada, yada. But God, it was it's beneficial. It's funny because I meet people who are, well, have you considered this? And I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Especially people that every once in a while meet someone who, I thought I knew a fair enough about Lovecraft fiction in general. And then I'll meet someone like, oh, but did you know that, Ulthar was in several other books? And did you know that there were these other gods that you could have called out and they're available to use? And there's a story where there's a bunch of cats that living on Mars, and it's amazing how much I learned. And so I can only take so much advice, but you never know if we ever do a sequel or something. It'd be nice to add some of the additional Lovecraft lore for the handful of people out there that can't get enough of it.
Awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it looks like not just Playtester played it, but you actually had some board game media played as well to preview it. What did my friend Michael Wright, the Unfiltered Gamer, what did he have to say about it?
Oh yeah, I think the one thing I took away from him was that he mentioned that it can get kind of brutal. It's a kind of game that I've had 8-year-olds beat me, but luckily some of the death cards are like you can like I said, slam the cat into a tree through levitation or disintegrate them. But we kept the artwork. I wouldn't say totally campy, but we gave it kind of a subtle cartoon twist on it, and he'd called out that hey, I hope if you want to win the game, you got to be ready to kill other people's cats. And I've had people sit down at the table and their feedback was, I don't like killing cats. So I'm like, it's not really killing, it's make believe. But so that's been something to consider. I think that's the one thing that he brought up.
Awesome. And so let's see. And it looks like you have a Supreme Pledge level or something where you can get a cool pine box. What's that all about?
Yeah. So I wanted to be able to at least offer the solid game as it is, perfect to play. But I had an opportunity to do something kind of unique, and I I got one of these boxes, and what it does is it's going to have 2 tuck boxes. One is going to have um, unique artwork on it that the original box won't have for the game, the standard box. It's going to have both, and so basically the card game is going to be in these 2 tuck boxes inside this wooden box, and on top of it, it has a silhouette of a cat, and it has the quote from H.P. Lovecraft on it, which is in Ulthar, no man may kill a cat. That's from the short story, and so the interesting thing about it is that if you want to, you can actually paint these boxes. And I painted ours kind of a blood deep crimson red. And it's not the best picture ever, but I posted on social media, and it's a small little section, but it's kind of cool because what I'm hoping is that people who, you know, we all collected tons of board games and have board game boxes and stuff, but I wanted to offer people on Kickstarter something that was just kind of unique and kind of a conversation starter. And I'm always amazed at, now that we have the internet and we can see what other people are working on as far as their projects, I'm really hoping people do some really zany stuff with decoration on some of these. And, if they send them to me, I'll definitely post them, because I know that there's so many people out there that, in their spare time, they want to have extra projects. And there's, you look at cosplay, you look at all the things that people are doing there, and I'm blown away. So I'm just hoping that the people that download this will definitely, that get that Pine Box pledge, will send me pictures in case they do decide to stain them, because it's like an open it's like a blank canvas. The boxes, they've got the emblazoned, etched in text and the cat picture, but other than that, they're really pine wood, and they're just dying to be messed with.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I know back when we got Archon, the card game that was on Kickstarter, I had to get the Pine box as well. It was pretty cool. And so now you have one more Pine box pledge than you did when you started the interview.
Awesome.
But yeah, it looks like at the time of recording, there's 173. It looks like there's going to be a limited quantity on that, 250.
Yeah, it's going to take us, because we're going to have to put the cards in the boxes and put the boxes in the wooden boxes. And so there's going to be more fabrication. And plus I felt like, let's not make a zillion of these. Let's make it something unique and give it a limited edition.
And it looks like there's some add-ons as well. My family is really suckers for game mats. There's a game mat as well.
Yeah, it's a standard, if you were playing Magic or Dice Masters or anything else, it's a standard sized, nice and thick too, game mat. And it's going to be specific. My prototype has the artwork only going in one direction. And so for the Kickstarter, I felt like, God, you know what, let's do something that's, if someone's facing across from you on the table, they'll get they'll get one of the ancient elder god monsters facing them, and you'll get one facing you. So kind of a yin and yang type design. And so I think it needs to be lightened. I think the picture right now on Kickstarter seems a little dark, but I think we're going to brighten those colors up. And it's the artwork that I have right now, it's looking really good. So yeah, that's definitely an add-on.
Awesome. Will that fit in the Pine box?
No, the Pine box is very, very, very specific to the 2 tuck boxes in the cards.
It doesn't look like they're pledge level available. So to get the mat as well, what do we do? Add an additional $18, or how does that work?
Yeah, if you go into your add-on, once you pledge, there's basically some description farther down when you do add-ons. I think Kickstarter could work to add that. I think eventually that's going to be something that they do, but basically, you want to manage your hit the manage your pledge button, and then you can increase your pledge by a certain amount. And we're gonna put out some sort of maybe, I think backer kit is what we might use, but we're going to send out notifications afterwards so people can verify what they want and don't want. We'll probably have some of that stuff available in case they change their mind.
Okay, awesome. Now, so we don't keep you all day, minus coming there to your hometown to stalk you, how do people go about keeping up with you and everything you're doing over there at Gilgamesh Games?
Yeah, it's Gilgamesh.games, basically. So www.gilgamesh.games. And we get a lot of, we still have a lot of people on Facebook and also Instagram. So if you look us up, Gilgamesh Games, through Instagram or Facebook. We do a little bit on Twitter, but those are really good places to get up with us. Right now, what we're working on is a I don't know if you're familiar with tarot cards, but the tarot cards have always been kind of a fascinating thing for us as far as the occult, and we're working on a deck. You can check it out on our website. But the next game is going to be called Magda, and it's basically set in kind of a 1980s space thriller scenario, and it's going to be a solo game. It's going to be a solitaire game, and basically you're going to travel through the universe and using an engine system that relies on your dreams. And so you're always asleep inside the game unless you wake up and go on a mission. And of course, the AI is this female AI that is just Magda, that has decided that she doesn't want you to wake up. She wants you to stay in the dream engine. And so there's going to be a lot of really cool. We're trying to mesh 80s kind of Miami Vice stylized pinks and blues, and we're trying to mesh that with kind of a space thriller, but also kind of a modern aesthetic as well. So this is kind of a baby project of mine that I wanted to create the deck's going to be larger too. It's going to be tarot sized deck, so it's going to be much larger, and it's going to be one of those things that if you're playing this game, we want people to walk by and go, "What is that?" Because it's almost like you're giving yourself a fortune telling experience, but you're actually playing a game.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Just going on the website and scrolling through, looking at the pictures of the cards. What are your plans for that one? Like, what kind of release are we looking for?
Well, I always said, if we're successful with cats, then we're going to start this one up right away. And since we've been doing pretty good with cats, in fact, we might actually hit that 500 mark.
Yeah, we're close to that 5,000 stretch goal last I looked.
Yeah, we're going to probably totally lose money just because of that, because I didn't think we'd get this far, but man, the foil cards are awesome. They're so cool, and if you shine a light on them, you'll blind yourself. They're definitely they're really cool. So we're getting pretty close to that, which is pretty exciting. But I think what we'll do is, we don't have a timeline yet on Magda, but I've already been testing it, and my minions, we've been testing it now for about 6 months, and so I'm going to ramp the ball up right after I really want to make sure that first that we get cats done, but also shipping, right? Shipping is always the bane of any Kickstarter experience. And we're going to have, shipping all over. There's certain companies we haven't shipped overseas before. And before we spend too much time on future games, I really want to make sure that people get the games in their hands, because, at the end of the day, to know that someone's getting to play your game and enjoying it on the other side of the world, it really means a lot to us. And so we're going to spend a lot of time making sure that people get the games in their hands.
Yeah, most definitely. Speaking of getting the games in their hands, so you don't overpromise and underdeliver, when would somebody anticipate being able to play the Cats of Ulthar?
Well, we're saying May, but May of next year, but I really want to get it. I'm hoping to make it sooner. I know people in the US will probably get it much sooner. But to people overseas, it might take a little longer.
Cool, awesome, yeah, so that's good. Now, when it comes to the Cats of Ulthar card game, what makes your game pop as one my audience should go check out, and if they like what they see, back it on Kickstarter today, Trenton?
Well, like I always said, if I meet lots of people who, there's a certain kind of fan out there that they love their cats, they love Halloween, they love Lovecraft, and this is the only game out there. Like back in the day, Lovecraft always said, take my ideas and do whatever you want with them, like run with them. Like if you come up with, something completely different, I'm thrilled with that. And so what we've done is taking something that's obscure that, you don't see, you might see a little hint of tentacles here and there, but for the most part, Cthulhu's nowhere to be found. And so we wanted to take a spooky, really cool, creepy story that Lovecraft did, but do it in not only an eerie kind of way, but also in a really fun, family-friendly, kind of funny way. Like if you see some of the artwork, it seems mildly comical. And so you're not going to see anything else like that on Kickstarter.
Oh, there you go. And yeah, just scrolling back and forth through the Kickstarter, I know you caught me, especially with and I like that pine box as well, and the play mat too. So awesome. Yeah, like I said, we don't want to keep you all day, so we'll go ahead and make sure we leave all the links in the show notes if you get those over to me so I can put them there so that people can follow along. And if you like what you've heard, and go check out their Kickstarter. It'll be on Kickstarter through Halloween, actually. So Thursday, the 31st of October. So make sure you go ahead and back H.P. Lovecraft's The Cats of Ulthar card game. And yeah, we don't want to keep you all day, but we really appreciate you coming on Getting Geeky with Game Relief with us to talk all about The Cats of Ulthar. We really appreciate it, Trenton.
Appreciate it back, Lake. Thanks.
Now, let's get geeky.
Wow, now I even more want to play this game about H.P. Lovecraft and cats. I can't wait. If you feel the same way, make sure you go ahead and back his Kickstarter. Now, let's go with Batterina Leaf, shall we? Where are we going, Batterina?
Kickstarter corner!
For peace, there must be war. Monkeys versus lemurs. For centuries, the magical island of Lim was peacefully inhabited by three ancient mammals: the monkeys, the koalas, and the lemurs. However, peaceful times came to an end when the evil wizard Ulan persuaded the Monkey King to invade all three island territories. And so, bit by bit, the monkey army took control of the island. Hoping to stop them, the lemur prince and his troops charged the monkey army, only to find that they were greatly outnumbered. Defeat was inevitable for the lemurs, but then, unexpectedly, the koalas came to their aid. Joining forces, they managed to defeat the monkey army and forced them to retreat. The failed invasion left the Monkey Kingdom extremely weak. Ulan saw this as an opportunity to dethrone the king and crown himself as the new ruler. And so he did, banishing the king into the abyss and cursing the remaining warriors, causing their minds and bodies to be overcome with immense evil power. Now the fate of the island is in your hands. Who will you fight for? Monkeys versus lemurs. Pledge now. Psst. Not sure whether to pledge yet?
Thank you, huge voice guy. I'll take it from here. Did that sound familiar to you? Well, good thing you stuck around for Kickstarter Corner, the part of the show where I, Game Relief, save 3 things for you: your wallet, time, and eyeballs. This way you can let us look at Kickstarter for you, and this way you won't drown in the loudness that is there on Kickstarter. Anyways, it's a story of monkeys versus lemurs conquer the jungle, which is an extremely fun card game for up to 8 players, in which you choose your side, conquer the jungle, and weep the tears of your enemies. Monkeys vs. Lemurs is an extremely addictive, fast-paced card game that you can enjoy with up to 8 people. Choose which side you want to fight for, the monkey side or the lemur side, and battle it out with your friends for survival on the magical island of Lim. Win the game by forming teams, conquering territories, and beating your opponents one by one. The game is very intense, so watch out. While playing the game, you will be able to admire each card's unique artwork, laugh at all the funny lemur quotes, and overall, you will have a blast playing it, guaranteed. So, if you're into card games with paranoid lemurs and hairy monkeys, please help Red Red Wine make this game a reality. It takes 10 to 15 minutes per game, it's family friendly, ages 7 and up, plus, just by checking out our Kickstarter, you can be entered into our giveaway, in which we've partnered with them over at our other site, thegiveawaygeek.com, to bring not only one lucky person a copy of the game, but 3. So if you don't have enough awesome games on your shelf dealing with both monkeys and lemurs, like I know the case is for us, then enter our giveaway and back Monkeys vs. Lemurs Conquer the Jungle, which will be on Kickstarter through Friday the 25th of October, and be part of history helping make Monkeys vs. Lemurs Conquer the Jungle become the best monkey and lemur game of 2020, and possibly of all time. Let them know Game Relief sent you in the comments. Did you miss Card Culture Games' previous successful Kickstarter game, Supreme Leader? A game of politics, diplomacy, and treachery? I know I did, but never again. Not to worry, they're back with Supreme Leader, political agendas, and war packs. First expansions, political agendas, and war packs, like I just said. Supreme Leader is a 5 to 10 player game of social manipulation and political persuasion. Players will take on the role of various leaders throughout history, and with the use of card play, variable player powers, and their very own rhetoric, will vote players into the United Nations. Round after round, one player will join the UN until only 2 leaders remain. They must then appeal to the UN, and the UN players vote for who they wish to crown. You guessed it, Supreme Leader. Supreme Leader focuses on player agency. You choose your allies and who you want to be in your voting block. You decide what cards you want to buy and what rival leaders you wish to vote against. You must be careful who you go against and how you make your enemies. Event cards will come up that challenge the active players not in the UN, and variable player powers mean each leader has their own strength and their own unique power. You decide what it will take for you to become. You guessed it, Supreme Leader. What? You say you're not new to Supreme Leader? Why should you care? Well, you should, because political agendas are secret objectives that players are able to draw and purchase in-game. They are used in 2 ways. They can be scored, redeemed in-game for rewards such as money, or voting twice in the future. They can also be used in the end-game variant where they are scored as victory points to decide the final decision. This gives players who love Supreme Leader but are not a fan of the endgame voting another variant winning condition. Plus, the War Pack introduces new leaders, strategy cards, and event cards. Each pack will include 5 leaders, 15 strategy cards, and 5 event cards. The leaders in the first War Pack will be Abraham Lincoln, Alexander the Great, Mao, Thomas Sankara, and Saddam. A bigger box to keep your Supreme Leader content neatly organized in a single place. The box last time around was a little small, so they're releasing this one for free to all Kickstarter backers. This box will leave room for future expansions and will allow fans to organize their cards by leaders, strategy cards, and event cards, along with any future categories added to the game. But hey, don't take our word for it. Our friends, the Unfiltered Gamer and Logan Chops, both reviewed it. Head on over to the Kickstarter page via the link in our show notes and see how awesome this game is. Plus, make sure you're a subscriber to Getting Geeky with Game Relief in your favorite podcast catcher so you don't miss our sit-down with the creators. But don't wait for the interview. Go back Supreme Leader, political agendas, and war packs before Tuesday the 22nd of October. Tell them Game Relief sent you in the comments on their Kickstarter page. You have been chosen to take command of the defense systems for a top-secret military base. There are many weapon systems at your disposal, including some which are classified above top secret. These include prototype systems, which have been reverse engineered from recovered extraterrestrial technology. As your security clearance increases, so does your access to higher levels of technology. Did that sound familiar to you guys? It didn't to me either. But think UFOs and secrets. Some things are normal secrets, some are top secret, but this next game is above top secret. That was the story of Above Top Secret, which is a turn-based strategic card game featuring stealth and secret technology as your defense systems. There's a couple of variants you can play, including for either 2 players or as team play variant. It is suited for ages 12 and older and will take approximately 45 to 90 minutes. This is the official 2019 relaunch of the game under a new publisher, 3 Mates Games. Besides the awesome art in this game, you know what I love? Well, if you've listened to the right episodes of Getting Geeky with Game Relief, then you're probably well aware that our family is suckers for neoprene game mats. They've got 4 of them to choose from, all at 20 Australian dollars. That was about 65 cents per Australian dollar if you're here in the US. Gotta get this game for even just the awesome mats. Or that's how I feel, at least. These mats are not only cool to look at, but they also provide you with a more immersive gaming experience. If you prefer to be filled in on what is above top secret, want an awesome game, and some super awesome play mats, head on over and check out Above Top Secret, the official relaunch, and then back it on Kickstarter before Sunday the 27th of October. Tell them Gamer Leaf sent you in the comments. It'll mean the world to them and to us. Rise and shine, campers. The bugle is sounding. So roll up your sleeping bags, break down your tents, and get ready for another beautiful day. Are you ready to scramble up Gemini Peak? Delve deep into Fiddler's Woods? Explore the depths of the Fairy Fire Caves? Or will you take the canoe out on Lantern Island? Grab your gear and let's get going. You are in a troop of campers who are exploring the wilderness to win. Level up your campers to the highest rank, Badger that is. Along the way, you will need to collect achievement patches, which will give your campers special abilities and allow them to level and win the game. Camp Pinetop offers endless variations of gameplay with 32 map cards in the base game. This offers hundreds of different map configurations, ensuring that each game will have a different and exciting route to victory. Camp Pinetop was voted Best Family Game of 2019 in the Boston Fig Fest. Out of over 40 games, do you believe that? Hot dog! If you're like me and aren't able to make it to the camp due to family circumstances, what could be better than camping on the tabletop? If you missed out on any of Talon Strike's other games, such as my favorite themed board game ever, Vinyl, in which vinyl is back in demand as collectors clamor to discover the pure, warm sound of music from decades past, you're not going to want to miss this bad boy, so don't dilly-dally and back Camp Pinetop before Friday the 18th of October. Tell 'em Gamer Leaf sent ya.
Space. Humanity's unexplored sector of the universe. But deep in the asteroid belts, lost within the infinite vastness of the galaxy, the Oracle exists and waits to be discovered. The Oracle, an ancient alien artifact, can prevent the destruction of one fortunate planet. The most worthy civilization in the galaxy will win the Oracle and thus survive the apocalypse. The rest are doomed. In interstellar space, you will play an alien life form. You will engage in combat with other alien races to win the precious life-preserving artifact. When a player discovers the Oracle, others can engage in combat. The initiator can begin with diplomacy, but then attack with a long-range weapon. If you have a defense card, you then have a chance to fight back. Combat then progresses through medium or short-range attacks, and whoever doesn't have the right defense is destroyed, and the victor obtains the Oracle. If you are defeated, you are reborn in the nebula with a chance to seek vengeance against your enemies. When the Oracle is found, the universe starts vanishing, shrinking planet by planet until the entirety of outer space has faced extermination. Many players have the chance to attack in hopes of obtaining the Oracle to prevent their destruction, but there can only be one. The Oracle is calling you. Can you hear it?
Thank you, huge voice guy. I'll take it from here. Did that sound familiar to you? It didn't to me either, so good thing we're here. Oracle, a game of galactic salvation, is a game about the end of the universe and what creatures will survive the rebirth. With the universe imploding around you, play as one of the several alien races traveling from planet to planet in search of items that will help your people control the Oracle and survive. Oracle is a science fiction card game inspired by the book Interstellar Pig by William Slater. Oracle is a 2 to 6 player game, but it really shines with 4 or more. Gameplay is under an hour and between 30 to 45 minutes with 4 players. It's fun for ages 10 to 99. The setup for each game is random. The placement of equipment and planets is different every time. Players select one of the 2 alien races presented to them at the beginning of the game. They then take turns exploring the planets and securing resources. Once the Oracle is found, the universe begins to collapse. The play area shrinks randomly and rapidly, forcing players to interact, battle, and try to win the Oracle. There is no player elimination. If a player is defeated in combat, a new agent appears in the nebula so that they may continue to play. The player that has the oracle when the last planet is removed is the winner. Word on the street is that they're teaming up with us over at thegiveawaygeek.com to bring 2 lucky winners some Fun Again gift cards, one for $50 and another for $100. So, make sure you subscribe to our mailing list via thegiveawaygeek.com so you don't miss out. Plus, make sure to be subscribed to our podcast in your favorite podcast catcher so you don't miss our sit down with the creator. If you've listened to our show at all, you've probably noticed that I'm a sucker for first-time creators and their new games being on Kickstarter. Well, I am. Plus, it may have slipped once or twice that I'm a USAF or United States Air Force veteran. So, with great honors, I bring you the next game, which has been created by a 20-year Air Force veteran. Did y'all see the Saints and Scoundrels card game that just recently launched to Kickstarter? Well, good thing you're here then. Saints and Scoundrels card game is a pulp air detective-themed bluffing card game with a psychotic doctor. You and your fellow players are private detectives on the hunt for a serial killer, gathering as much evidence as possible. You're also sabotaging each other's investigations. One man has offered to help. Dr. Zyko the Psycho. He's a brilliant criminal psychologist, but also an imprisoned serial killer. Dr. Zyko can help you, but he also wants to drive you all insane. If you're listening before the end of September, make sure you're subscribed, as I'm going to have this fellow vet on to tell us all about his game that looks awesome. So make sure you subscribe to Getting Geeky with GamerLeaf in your podcast catcher so you don't miss an episode. If you're in October when listening to this and you missed our sit down, go back and listen to our Saints and Scoundrels card game episode to find out if I be a saint or a scoundrel. Interview or not. Make sure you check out this awesome Kickstarter game and back Saints and Scoundrels, the card game, before Thursday the 24th of October. Tell them GamerLeaf sent ya. If you liked any of the games we talked about in today's episode, make sure you check out their Kickstarter campaigns to show them and us a little love. Backing them goes a long way. Plus, make sure to stay up to date on all the giveaways we're doing over at thegiveawaygeek.com. There will be at least 2 to 3 new giveaways going live over there next week. It's our least favorite time as well as yours. So until next episode, make sure you go ahead and get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others in the geek fold by sharing our episodes with others, as well as keeping up with the giveaways we're doing over at thegiveawaygeek.com. GamerLeaf out.
GamerLeaf levels up. Tune in next week to see if GamerLeaf's luck holds up.